See that bee right there? Keeps circling around the hive, trying to check the gaps and all of that. And I'm pretty sure he's not one of our bees, because a while ago that bee came over here and was buzzing my face and just being a pain in the butt. And I haven't seen any of the bees in this hive doing that. I think he's probably like a little robber bee. And if he goes down to that landing board, he'll get told what for by these guys. They're usually real good about keeping other bees out. They throw down and be rolling around on the ground. So we'll just have to wait and see. But he already knows not to go down there. One of them, I opened up the top to look and see how the flow hives were doing and the flow frames up above. And I think one of them got trapped in there and had 3 other bees chasing around on the flow frames. So hopefully he makes it out without getting killed. But I'm not going to guarantee that one. Because these little girls here, they're really docile, really cool. They're chill with me. But other bees, I have a feeling they would kill them in a heartbeat. And that's our cat, Lucky Boy. He just sitting over there licking himself and chilling out. And the bees leave him alone. He leaves them alone. A lot of times he jumps up on top of the hive and just sits up there. And he's the Mr. Hive Cat, I guess. Or the bee cat. But the bees are, these bees here are just really docile, really cool. They don't come after me. They land on me, they'll come in, they'll land on me full of pollen, full of nectar, rest for a minute, and then fly on in. They're nothing like that other bee. They stay away from my head and my face. They'll land on my knees and my arms. No big deal. That other bee, he was actually trying to go in my mouth. And that wasn't cool. So, anyway, that's just a little bit of what's going on today. So that's why I was thinking he's probably a robber bee from another hive, because these guys here don't behave that way. Now, I would never not wear any kind of protection. Every time I open up the hive to go into it, other than just check the flow frames, I wear the jacket with the veil on top and all that. Usually just shorts and flip-flops. I don't wear gloves on them because the first couple times I did, but these guys are so chill. As long as you're very careful where you stick your fingers and your hands, they might land on your hand, but they don't just initially sting you. You have to kind of pressure them a little bit to get them to sting. So, I've never been around bees before other than when they had bees on our property and you couldn't get anywhere near them without them stinging you. The bees down there on the other side of the garage, which is down here, I have some bees on the other side that people from Sacramento brought down. And those, you can't go within 10 feet of their hive without they start headbutting you or they just outright sting you. And there's a foot. I don't know if you saw that or not. Lucky Boy, what's your foot doing up there? He's silly. He's a stray that came up and decided we could live with him. So, anyway, these bees here, they're just really docile, really cool. Have never had a better problem with these guys since I got them. I got them on March 20th, and it was a 10-frame box, just like a little mini hive, and I just transferred them into the flow hive here, and then I put the flow frames on top of it, but they were starting to beard up, and I was starting to find lots and lots more drone brood in there. So I ended up putting the second brood box on top here. And let me get out of the, whoop, dang it, it's not letting me do it. Anyway, here we go. That'll do it. Okay, so I put the second box on top right here. And rather than just pulling the flow frames off, I just left it on top of that. But I did take about four or five frames out of the bottom box and put up into the second box along with the bees to get them all in both boxes, and they're all pretty much in the center right there so they can start building on the outside. And I think that's what kind of slowed down the progress in the flow frames up above, which makes sense. And that's fine with me. We still have another month and a half, almost 2 months of nectar flow before it kind of dries up and we go into our summer. Usually it's anywhere from mid-May to first part of June. And that's when the heat really starts hitting in and everything dries up and everything's pretty much dead. Except for the trees, but they don't have blossoms on them. So at that point, once they start showing signs that there's no more nectar flow coming in, then I'll go ahead and I'll pull the flow frames off, store them away until the next flow. Not sure if that's going to be in the fall or if we will have one in the fall, or if we're going to have one next spring. That just gives them a leg up. They've got a lot of wax already built in there. That'll be just a lot less work they have to do. And then I'll start feeding them and make sure they're good to go there. And if they get too many, then that's when I'm going to do my split. And I'll probably just do a walkaway split. I'll probably take about half of the frames out of the second brood box. That'll give them another, probably take out 6 frames. That'll give them 4 frames up above. And I'll take a couple of the ones from below up. And then kind of give them more room in both of them to work. So they're not quite so packed up, and try to keep them from swarming that way. And the split I'll do will start up another hive, and I'll have to feed it throughout the summer. But that's no biggie. And I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos, but I do have some swarm traps out. If I catch them, I can use those as nukes. Just leave them in the deal and make sure they have feed. And I'll probably end up doing a stationary feeder, probably somewhere out in the middle of this field, or maybe down there in the yard, on the other by the garage there, anywhere down there. That way these guys can go down there and get food, and it'll keep them away from the hives to get the food. We won't have to worry about them coming in trying to rob as much. So anyway, that's about all I got for you for today.